After many years, the Snyder Cut of Justice League, something we never actually thought we would see, has been released. It's 4 hours long. It's available in color or black and white. And like you, we've all watched it. We've got lots of opinions, and that's what we're talking about in this episode of Legends of Podcasting. So joining me in the Wave Rider is
Stuart,
Ross.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Liam. Now, this is also being done as a live recording on our YouTube channel with the chat feature enabled. So please let us know. Please let us know your thoughts and questions, because we'll be keeping an eye on that chat, and we'll try to respond as much as possible. But there's a lot to get through, so let's jump into it. Warner Brothers first started working on a Justice League movie back in 2007 with George Miller attached to direct, aiming for a 2009 release. But that movie was ultimately cancelled thanks to the writer's strike. If you do a quick Google search, you can find scans of the Justice League Mortal script if you're interested. I recommend it. Then in 2014, Warner Brothers announced that they're going to try for a Justice League movie again, this time as a continuation of the story Zack Snyder started in Man of Steel and continued in Batman v Superman. This movie was to be called Justice League Part 1, with Justice League Part 2 set to follow in 2019. This was Zack Snyder's original vision, to have his story told across 5 movies. Unfortunately, as we're all aware, there are several issues that stopped that happening. Firstly, the studio required a rewrite of the script in response to the theatrical cut of Batman v Superman. Secondly, work on Part 2 of Justice League became indefinitely delayed to accommodate a Ben Affleck Batman movie, which itself ended up not happening. Then on top of that, Zack had some very sad news in his family, resulting in him needing to step away from the Justice League movie. And for the studio brought in Joss Whedon to rewrite and reshoot large sections of the script. The result was an enjoyable theatrical release that was fairly different in tone to Zack Snyder's vision and was more suitable for a wider family audience, more of a family audience, although with some rushed special effects. The biggest disappointment was that we didn't get the payoffs from the story that we saw get set up in Batman v Superman. In particular, we didn't get to see Darkseid, the post-apocalyptic future, or Flash travel back in time to scare Batman by jumping through his computer screen. Thankfully, after a successful #Release the Snyder Cut public campaign, the studio caved in and did something we may never see again. The studio gave the director enough budget to finish off his version of a Justice League movie. It's not the 5-movie arc he originally wanted to tell, but he did get to finish up the story on his own terms. So that said, let's quickly go around the room and each give their initial response to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Stuart?
amazing. Couldn't ask for more. I love it.
Okay.
So you're happy with it?
What else can I say?
Yeah, no, I loved it as well. I mean, the way they continued the vision was great, and you don't get the full payoff, but you get enough. I feel like to, if it's never going to continue, you can be happy with it.
Rob?
I've got to say, you guys all know, and regular viewers will know, I'm no big fan of what Snyder's done with the universe. I enjoyed Man of Steel, hated BVS, Justice League was abysmal. I like this film. I got to say, the direction, the characterization, the increased plot, yeah, does it for me. In the 4 hours we sat together and watched it, I wasn't bored. I was entertained. And for me, that's 2 thumbs up. So.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree.
For me, I like that we got to get an end, to the story, that we got a chance to actually tie up the loose ends. I'll be honest, though, I was kind of disappointed I didn't get everything I wanted. But we can get more into that later on. So there's a lot to talk about with this movie. It's 4 hours long, so there's a lot of areas to cover. So, Stuart, why don't you start us off? Take us through the overall changes that are in this story versus what we had in the Whedon cut.
Oh, that's going to take 4 hours. No,
Scene Act 1.
yeah. So it opens on a stark night. I'll touch on. I think the opening, and I'll talk on the sort of 2 bad guys as well, and then I'll move on. But so the opening for a start off, when we first started watching it, is just. Also, obviously, everything I'm going to say is a lot better than Joss Whedon's version of Justice League. But the opening just makes more sense. So we come in with the bit where Doomsday's just stabbed Superman, and he sort of screams in pain, and you didn't even notice. I'm assuming it didn't. I'm trying to remember in BVS whether it actually happened, but you don't actually notice the shockwave. But you see this shockwave of pain go out across, and you see it go spread across Metropolis, and it heads to Themyscira. They hear it in Atlantis. They hear it everywhere, and that's what actually activates the mother boxes, which makes so much more sense as to why they suddenly turn on. Because in the other version, they just turn on randomly. So it was, and it makes more sense of Lex Luthor's lines of the god is dead, and they heard it, kind of thing. That's all line he says in BBS.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
isn't it?
So that just sets up the whole movie to make you understand why now the mother boxes have activated. And then you sort of, so that the main difference is really who the main bad guy is. Even though you don't get much of him, is Darkseid. But which I'll touch on in a minute. But you also then we have a awesome, much more in-depth Steppenwolf. So not only does he look better for me, he also has much more of a character build. So there's a point in it when he's sort of in his little base that he's set up, and he actually talks about to Desaad and Darkseid about why he's there and what he's doing. It turns out that he's actually portrayed Darkseid, and he's trying to make amends for that by claiming. I think he said something like they've got another 50,000 worlds to claim before Darkseid will let him back into Apocalypse, which just gives him like a whole much more, like in the Whedon cut, it was him talking to the mother boxes like that was his mother, which made very little sense. So they sort of took that all away, and sort of the original thing was actually about him trying to become in good graces of Darkseid again, which was amazing. And then also you get the whole bit of him first appearing in Themyscira, fighting the Amazons, and in the Whedon cut, he sort of just tore them apart. He was literally, he came in. I think he came in by himself as well. There wasn't even any parademons, and just tore them apart. And there was this whole thing of during the film of like Batman says, "Oh, they can sense fear, etc." It's all about fear, etc., etc., etc. When in this, he said to the Amazons like, "Oh, don't be afraid" or something. And then she Paula, what's her name? Hippolyta. Thank you. Hippolyta says like, Amazon, show him your fear, and they just shout back, "We have no fear," and just start attacking. Which is just so much better, showing them they're actually a warrior race that can't be messed with.
Don't take no shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Don't take any shit at all. And the fact that the in the original as well, you sort of get the things getting knocked down to try to trap him in it, and then he just literally bursts through the side of it, so that all those people die for nothing. With this one, the trap is actually the whole thing falls into the ocean, which should kill anyone. Which makes so much more sense, right? And I was just like,
one of the things for me that was a huge improvement was just seeing the Amazons be the Amazonians we've seen from Wonder Woman. Yeah,
exactly. And you actually see this whole part of you sort of obviously the same sort of like chase of the mother box that Steppenwolf does is still there, but improved upon. But then the thing that really got me was at the end when he actually finally gets the box is this army of Themyscira of Amazons coming over the hill, charging at him, and he actually looks like, oh shit, better get the fuck out of here because this is not good. So which was just again so much better, and he obviously teleports away. So that is, I think Steppenwolf was done so much better, and I mean beyond belief. And then on the other bad guy we had was Darkseid. So we don't get much of him, sadly, but we do get a big chunk of him in the flashback battle. So again, slightly changed. In the other version, Steppenwolf's the one that came back thousands of years ago, where the men, Atlanteans and Amazons came together, and the Green Lantern came together to actually stop him. Where in this, it was actually Darkseid that originally did it and brought the mother boxes, and you see this much more in-depth, detailed fight with everyone together taking on Darkseid and his minions. You get an awesome shot of Zeus like taking them down. You get Ares, the god of war, like actually hurting Darkseid, which was wicked to see. Which was really cool to see. And then you get this, like I think in the original cut, I'm not sure, is like you see a sort of faint lantern in the background. Don't really see him very much. Where in this one, you get a close up of him, and he actually fights Darkseid. Loses. And then I don't know what you guys think. I know we talk about it, but there is a moment when that ring comes off his hand, and it sort of hovers in front of Darkseid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so the ring's purpose is to find the person with the most will. I mean, would that actually be Darkseid?
Well, I don't think as well, because there's thousands of warriors on that battlefield. that it could just be pausing and just checking everybody in the vicinity.
Yeah.
Because obviously Zeus is there as well, and you're like,
Yeah.
he's like, no, nobody here, and then I'm off. But it was quite nice to see it in front of Darkseid. He probably was one of the ones he was checking on. So
yeah, that's how I saw it. It was like it was pausing just in front of him to say, "Oh, this guy's taking on an entire planet full of warriors. He could have the will to do this." You know, I think maybe a Yellow Lantern ring or Red Lantern is probably more suited to Darkseid, but that's just
Yeah,
me.
I feel like Red. Yeah,
it was just a cool little tidbit of like, oh, could he? But then he got hit by an arrow, so it flew off. But I just thought it was another nice little touch to an already amazing movie, and also the bit at the end where the Justice League win and his sort of decapitated body goes through back into Apocalypse, and Darkseid's like, oh, we'll have to do it the old ways. Just like leaves it. I mean, I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but it just leaves it so open for another movie that Darkseid and his entire army are coming to Earth to take it, because that's where the which another big thing that they cut out was the anti-life equations actually on Earth.
Yes,
it's like the one thing that Darkseid actually wants in every single iteration Darkseid I've ever read. He wants his anti-life equation in the cartoons I've seen, the comics, everything, and they actually put that in the film. And again, to cut that out just seems so. I don't know why you would cut that out, because it's such a big part of Darkseid.
Are we allowed to talk about that? Because there's two things about that where like Steppenwolf is boom tubing all over Earth to get where he wants. How come he's the only one that can boom tube? Is that never really like no, it doesn't. It's just the way that like Darkseid is on Apocalypse. Why can't he just boom tube straight there? I didn't understand what the reasoning for that was. What do you guys think? Is it because he gave him the ability to then claim the 50,000 worlds? He gave him that one ability to boom tube around. It's like, why is he the only one that can do it?
I think the reason why Darkseid doesn't just boom over to Earth is because he wants to come with he needs more people to come at once. He needs to get more than what you just get coming through like one boom tube or a couple of boom tubes. If he's going to do it the old way, like an armada of ships, you can do a full Independence Day style invasion, and just take over the planet.
I always saw it as,
but you're not going to get that from boom tubes. That's my only fault.
I always saw it as being more comics oriented, in that the boom tube requires a mother box to open, and the mother boxes are on Earth. This one's awakened. It's called out to Steppenwolf, and he's boom tubed to it because it's allowed him to. And now he knows they're on Earth. But like you say, Ross, surely the rest of them are open. The boom tube should now open on Apocalypse and now to come through. But I'm guessing Steppenwolf is doing his whole redemption thing. And like you say, it's even a line from Darkseid at the end where he's like, "Oh, you told me he'd fail." Maybe they're just watching to see what Steppenwolf can do before they go there with their entire fleet of parademons and just lay waste to Earth.
I say John Charles Caudry just put in the comment saying Darkseid's an evil god and he prefers his minions to move around doing his busy work, which makes sense.
Yeah. So I just saw it as being more motherbox related, but like you say, surely now they're awake. Maybe it's because they were in use at the time. Who knows?
Didn't they say at the end the mother boxes are no longer awake? Didn't they just go back to sleep at the end?
Yes.
Because the Kryptonians now out, the mother boxes.
Because they were kind of scared of him, weren't they? Because it was only when he died.
And we'll talk more on Superman in a bit. So actually, on that note, let's go to Ross. One of the things that we got a lot more in this movie was more of Cyborg and Flash. Why don't you take us through that?
Thank God, because in the original one, they are literally just there like to sell toys or something, or merchandise, because they make nothing on the story of the original one. Because we actually get Cyborg's. I mean, we got a little bit of its origin where he fuses with the mother box in BVS from that Lex Luthor computer file. But in this one, we see the little journey of him being a football star, still missing his dad because his dad does not care about football. He knows that his son can do better than that. And then you see the car crash between him and his mother, and then you really you see his dad kind of. I mean, Cyrus as well gets a massive arc. He
does, yeah.
He sacrifices himself. Because I've seen a few comments where people say, why did he go inside that little glass box to heat up the mother box to then just... Well, he could have done that remotely because he had the remote to do it. But for me, I feel like he knows that he's going to die because Steppenwolf is there right in front of him. So he wants to go out on his own terms. He's like, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die doing something that will save the world.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a chance that if he was outside the box and he tried to hit the button, Steppenwolf could stop him somehow. But the way that he went out in front, because I think that little clip was in the first trailer of his dad then in sort of glowing blue as the lasers were going around. But that was such a powerful shot as well. And then his son, Cyborg comes in to stop him, and he just sees his father die right in front of him.
The big bit on that as well is the fact that he trusts his son that he can do it.
Yeah.
I think there's a big part of like Cyborg hates his dad. He blames his dad for his mother's death, and he says like, you were never there for me. But he's trying to prove to his son, he goes, I trust you, you can do this, and I believe you. Even the bit where they sort of come in and they pretend there's a sort of fire or whatever in the ship, and everyone leaves. Yeah. And he's like, oh, it's a fake, it's fake. And as soon as he sees his son walk in with the Justice League, he goes, no, yeah, it's definitely a fire. Everyone's he just instantly, no questions, like
he doesn't question at all what they're going to do. He just trusts it.
Yeah, he even says it like. Although there is a point when they save him from Steppenwolf the first time, and he's like, "Oh, you came," and he goes, "Well, yeah, of course, you're my dad." Like it's kind of like this father-son relationship they sort of really build on, which was so good, and I'm so happy Ray Fisher's finally. We won't go into the political stuff of it, but like that he's actually got all the stuff he did on that in this movie because he got totally sidelined. It was horrible.
Yeah, he got shafted big style, didn't he?
He really did.
He was the main character of that movie for me.
Yeah, it was a Cyborg movie,
and then they just took him out to just turn up with a mother box. Do a few check things, and then that was it. And
is that as well? Is that like, nearly everything he's in the original Justice League is a reshoot. There's none of that. All the stuff they shot is just gone, and all the stuff in the original theatrical cut is just reshoot stuff, which does nothing, like you say, Ross. But like, oh, we need this character in the film. Here's one shot with him being made. Here's one shot with him following Diana, and here's one shot with him bringing the mother box in, and that's it.
Terrible.
Yeah. And I love the quick montage of his dad explaining all the stuff he can do as well. So people who don't know who Cyborg is can just see how powerful he really is. Like he is one of the biggest, most powerful superheroes around.
There's a reason why he's in the Justice League.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's that wonderful scene of him helping that woman out with the when he
money.
With the money, when he realizes he can get into every system on Earth, and then he sees that she's a good person, and he just creates some wealth for her and calls it the lottery that she's won. And it's like that's even the actress that played that was like, oh, it's my scene back in the film. This is great. And it's like, but it just goes to show you how much of a character he is and how much heart he's got, which is what you need in the Justice League.
Yeah. And then the other character that got shafted was the Flash, who is probably the second main character in the movie. Because he saves the world, pretty much.
Yeah,
and that's. Oh man, I think all of his shots pretty much got redone as well because he had that whole thing with the Russian family saving them, which I've got no idea why
that was in there.
Yeah.
The bit with him seeing Iris for the first time was a little bit. I don't know. It wasn't the best thing in the movie, but it kind of. I feel like that was literally just a setup for his own film. You can see that maybe why when they say, "Oh, we first met," and I was looking in a pet store, and he saw it, and then you'd understand it. But it was a little bit. I mean, graphically and visually, it was amazing when he's like, the glass melts as he pushes his finger through it to save her. The shoes just completely melt as he runs off and saves her. But the highlight, I think, the two highlight scenes for Flash for me was when he saves all the people coming out from when they've been taken from by Steppenwolf. And they take them up the stairs and get them out, and then Wonder Woman and Steppenwolf are fighting, which makes this massive lot of debris come flying out, and it's going to land on them. And you just see him, light speed, just smash everything apart from the last one, and do them. And which was the first shot that apparently Joss Whedon and Warner Brothers took out.
Yeah,
it was finished. It was finished. Which I have no idea.
What I love about that, and also the bit in the Wonder Woman bank heist, is they show it in real time because usually all the Flash stuff's in slow motion, so you can see him do stuff, which a lot of it is. But the fact you see, this is like normal speed. This is what the Flash does. It was just like, oh crap, like him like going up the stairs really fast.
Saviors,
So it was so good.
That was something that really struck me, especially like you say with the Wonder Woman scene at the beginning, where she does it all in real time from the perspective of the people she's saving. Because all those shots normally, especially in Wonder Woman, the original film, where she does when she fights the Germans in that building, and it's all in slow motion, ramped up Zack Snyder style. And then we get this where it's like, it's just such a refreshing way to see it. I really enjoyed those. Yeah,
definitely. Because the film's got a lot of slow mo anyway. Yeah, so it was quite nice to see normal speed for other action scenes.
Someone's done it. It's just like between 10 and 11 minutes of slow motion in the film. It's quite a lot. I mean, for a 4-hour movie, maybe not, but it's quite a lot. But yeah, but it was, and also, I mean, like stupid things like Ross, like we always joked about in the original one, the way he runs was really weird. Like the ending when he's running through the street, it was such a weird run. And he runs much better at this. I don't know if it was like it was just we to go right, run really weird. Like I don't know what happened, but like in this one, he runs fine and really well. And it's like you can talk about obviously the end bit where he saves the world. It's like it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
I mean, when you see when they're bringing back Superman and Cyborg has that small vision. And you see the Earth explode and it go all the way around. Yeah, you're just like, okay, right. And then, but that actually happens in the movie. I never thought that was going to actually happen. And you're like, whoa, everyone just died. And he just puts his hand up in the air and stops time, which he also does when Superman comes back from the dead. When he's up in the air and he's coming down towards them, Flash is putting his hand up like he's gonna. I feel like that's the trigger that you would visually should see that he's gonna flash time. But he decided not to do it back then because he could obviously trust that the rest of them could bring Superman back at that point. But it was like, no, the world is ending. It's coming towards me. Stop time.
Yeah.
And then I love the way as well. He's like talking to his dad. If I don't make this, I was one of them. I helped. And then as he's running, everything is just, you can see the lightning just sort of recreating everything around him. And go through it, and then the way they brought like Superman's arm and stuff, and you see his head recreate, and then Cyborg. Oh my god, I don't know how long that took to make, but that was just fantastic. And it's just like, yes, the Flash is the most powerful, and there's no need for Superman and Flash to race at the end because he is.
That's been one of my. It's one of my geek points. It's the hill I'll die on. Flash should always be faster than Superman.
Yes.
Superman's his speed is based upon his Kryptonian heritage. Flash is literally connected to the speed force of the universe. He should always be the fastest. Even when Superman wins, it's because Flash is being generous.
and it's even like I don't know. Again, I don't know why they put that family at the end in the original one. And it was. I keep saying the original one, but this is the original one, the Josh Whedon one. And just sort of sidelining. Where this one, he was fighting loads of like parademons, and he also did that massive. He was just running around in a circle to power himself up, which we see quite a lot in the TV show that we watch.
Yeah, the thing with the running is he gets hit by that parademon, which I feel is a little bit of weak writing for me. That bit, whereas it's like he's moving at an incredible speed. He's literally pushing himself to get that much energy to be able to separate the mother boxes.
Does he actually hit him? I thought he hit in front of him and he fell, and that was like a burn, like a skid burn.
No, I think I saw it as
a hit. It hit.
It's meant to be. Is a hit? Is it? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I thought he hit in front of him and sort of made him trip, and that was him sliding along the floor, and it skidded like.
No, that's definitely a heat burn from the gun.
They cut that stupidness out of that fight with Wonder Woman, where he trips and falls into her. And they cut that right out. He's so much better in that fight scene as well when he It's in the original theatrical cut where he comes in, she's fighting Steppenwolf, and then he sort of just all he does is run down a tower and plonk a sword back at her, and then he trips and falls. Yeah. Whereas in that fight, especially he's going in and getting everyone out and moving things around, and then you see the end when he moves all the debris. So it's just he's a powerful character.
He does get hit by somebody. Was it him or somebody kills the parademons in front of him?
Yeah.
And then all their green blood goes on him, and he goes ooh, and that's pretty much what he does.
Yeah, they did make him in the Josh Whedon one. They did make him like he was like he's not a proper hero yet because he's like, even though I quite like the whole speech when he's like, what do I do? And
I've never fought before. I just run, push people away, kind of thing.
Yeah. I quite like. That's one thing I did quite like from Josh Whedon. One of Batman's like save one, then you know what to do. I quite like that. But the fact he knows what to do in this is even better. Yeah. Like this, and the whole brunch thing that cut out, which was just.
I feel like because they changed his story so much, where he goes back in time and saves the world, and they weren't going to use it. If they didn't have that, he'd have literally nothing to do in the movie. So they added that Russian family just so that he could get them out of harm's way. That's kind of how I feel. Otherwise, he would literally have nothing.
And that created a fun little moment between him and Superman when Superman's carrying the whole building, or else he's run along with a cart. Which leads us to our next point. Rob, why don't you take us through Superman and how that's changed in this movie?
The main plot point is still the same in that he's obviously dead, but it's the way in which they bring him back, which is so much more interesting in this. Is that it's not just we need Superman because so let's go get his body and put him in this amoebic fluid and then zap him with the mother box. Why are you zapping with the mother box? And then in this one, it's explained that the mother boxes are effectively terraforming engines that can rewrite matter. So, okay, and then they're like, okay, well, we need to. Should we bring him back? Is the first argument, question they have when they're all in the Bruce's cave, and then they decide that they need his power. And then so there's a whole plot point about that because they're not sure that he'll come back right. Now that's a trope that pisses me off all the time I see it in comics, and that's just me. It's a personal bugbear. When someone dies and they bring him back, they brought him back wrong. We have to fight him, and that's one of the things in the theatrical cut I fucking hate. Is that stupid scene where they all go to the monument and then he just fights them all. Although I do admit the bit where he's holding Wonder Woman and Aquaman at bay, and Flash runs up to him, and then he just turns his head up to his catch.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's a really good scene, and it's in both cuts, but fine. But I'm not. I was worried they were going to make that scene the same. It kind of works better after you've explained why he might come back wrong, and then you even have that bit where they see. Now, keep me honest, I haven't watched it since we saw it, but there's a scene where they're deciding to drop the mother box, and then Cyborg sort of sees a vision of the future.
Yes,
and says, "Don't do it," because he's seen what might come to pass. Which leads into
he says no, and Barry's like, "Go, all right."
Yeah,
and he's like,
yeah.
No. So and then the computer says the future's now been set or something. Along those lines. And it's just like what?
Yeah.
So
it's really interesting plot point for the next. Like, okay, so the post-apocalyptic future you're all fearing is now coming to pass because you've brought them back. But it's a case of we've brought him back to save the world, but might have doomed it at the same time. So we're gonna have to deal with that in the future. That's But then they cut that stupid bit out where Bruce shows up in the Batman suit in broad daylight and falls on his ass and is talking about how his hips hurt or something. That's a Joss Whedon line.
Something's definitely bleeding.
Yeah, that's the line.
Yeah.
The whole scene when do you bleed? Yeah.
They have that set up where he's been developing those heat protective gauntlets based on it's an idea Bruce came up with after witnessing Wonder Woman do it.
It was so good.
But you got Superman still trying to kill him, but then they bring Lois in at the right moment, and he goes off with her, and they have the whole the extended time gives you a lot more of the Kent farm and Martha and her having a reunion, which helps bring him back to himself.
Which again, I haven't watched the Joss Whedon one for ages, but those scenes didn't really change. I don't get why they had to reshoot them all and put his CGI face on it because the scenes
they changed the lines.
But did it make much difference? I mean,
there's a bit where she says, "Oh, you spoke, you talked, or something," where he'd already said, "Do you bleed?" and everything in the Joss Whedon one.
Thankfully, that line's cut as well. It's because he's just entirely silent throughout that whole scene, and it's not until he even looks like he's confused when he first arrives on the scene, and then it's only
doesn't remember anything, but he remembers that one line.
But it's only it's only in this cut. It's only when Cyborg's mother box enhanced physiology reacts to Superman, as in because we know from the previous scene, as I just said, the mother boxes were like, and even the Kryptonians were like,
scared of him.
We shouldn't do this. We should not bring him back. And then Cyborg is like, no, and then just shoots him by accident. At which point he goes on a killing spree, knocks everyone out.
It changed, right? Because he's made of a mother box. The mother box is scared of him, so it naturally reacts to try and hurt Superman. Yeah. Where in the Joss Whedon cut, it was like, oh, my defenses are trying to do this, and it's like, no, that doesn't make sense. Stop it. But yeah, I also love the bit as quickly as well when he goes back to the ship. And you have that monologue between Jor-El and Jonathan. Oh man, that goosebumps the shit out of me.
Yeah, they're both interweaving the same sort of. Same thing is great.
When he's picking the suit out as he's walking down the aisle because he's decided that he's come back. He's not got this stupid. I don't want to help anyone. I'm just back now. He's like, no, it's always been my personality, my duty, my responsibility. I'm going to go help these people fight Steppenwolf, which leads to the final fight with him turning up. That great scene. Cyborg's busy pulling the cubes apart. Flash has been shot. He turns up right in the nick of time, as Superman should do. Takes an axe to the chest and does nothing to him. I'm not impressed.
That's so good. Yeah. Freeze breath.
And then the first time we see him use his freeze breath as well.
Yeah.
But that
was awesome.
I did the Whedon cut of that scene. The end fight is always a bit annoying for me because it shows everyone. It's like, why is the rest of Justice League even there? They get their asses handed to them. Superman shows up. Is this guy still bothering you? And then just proceeds to kick the shit out of everyone. Yeah. And then in this one, he turns up in the nick of time to save everyone. Whilst he's helping Cyborg with the mother box, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, they're getting their licks in on. So they're all working together as a team, and it just works so much better I think for me as that end scene.
Yeah, you do see a lot of teamwork. Because I know we sort of said it, and when I've been watching other people watch it as well, is that because it's 4 hours as well, you get the whole them building as a team, and by the end of it, it sort of pays off that they are actually a team, not just 6 people shoved together to try and stop it. And there's so much like little bit of teamwork, and there's this whole bit
quite
where
a lot of jokey lines between them as well.
Yes.
Yeah, but like there's a bit where Aquaman like throws his trident down, and then Cyborg like uses his sonics to push that into Steppenwolf.
Yeah,
and as you say, Rob, like they all get a shot at Steppenwolf. It's not just Superman beating him up,
Yeah.
even though he does heat vision his horn off, which is awesome. Like you do get Wonder Woman and Aquaman getting their shots in quite a lot, which is awesome to see.
I want to go back to the Smallville scene when Martha turns up.
Yes,
It's the first time Superman saw his mother pretty much since Lex saw her tied up with the Polaroids on the roof.
Yeah.
Because from then onwards, he goes take out Batman and gets killed with Doomsday. So that was great to sort of see the first 2 people he goes and sees is his mother and Lois.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been quite funny if they said, "Oh yeah, thanks for that coffee the other day," and then Martha would have been like, "What are you talking about?" Because the Easter egg of Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. I was waiting for some little comment like that to be said, kind of like for Lois to mention the coffee, and for Martha to be like, "What are you talking about?" And then like just a brief moment of that. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the black suit with black suit Superman?
It's always been in the comics, hasn't it? And it's usually put down as a solar collector to help him get his powers back in, especially in the comic storyline. But I don't know.
I mean, it could still be the same because the first thing he did was literally fly above her and absorb the solar energy. So it could have been that they just, if you're a comic book fan, you understand why he did that, and that's why the suit is helping. But it doesn't really need it. It just looked awesome.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you're a non-comic book fan and you haven't read those comics and you don't understand the black suit's meant to be helping to hit his body to heal after he just died from fighting fighting Doomsday, it just looks like a wardrobe change. And he's like, I feel like wearing black right now because I died.
Black's in vogue. It's just
I mean, that's the thing. Like when he died, did all of the radiation leave him? And then he's like, right, I know, because he said to Martha and Lois, they brought me back for a reason. I need to go and find out why. And then that's the reason for the black suit to help him. Because how long has he been dead for? Probably a month or 2. I can't remember how long between the movies. Not that long, is it?
Few months.
You got to feel like maybe the energy has drained through him, so he just needs that little bit of a boost, which would make sense.
Which then at the end of BVS, you got that final shot just on the coffin, and suddenly the dirt like moves like just for a split second. What was that about then?
Yeah, that was the one thing I wanted them to fix in this, because the Joss Whedon one does the same, where they just bring him back. So why did the Earth move if he was fully dead?
Yeah,
unless it was the mother boxes doing it. That's the one thing I didn't like between it.
Because I always assumed from that end scene in BVS that we're going down a comics route of him not being entirely dead. He's just in
exactly
quote unquote Kryptonian coma, and it was going to be able to bring it back that way. But then in the theatrical cut, he's definitely dead, and in this one, it seems like he is definitely dead as well.
Yeah.
So
I don't understand that at all.
Which then it could be maybe down to the fact that this originally there was going to be after BVS. There was going to be 2 more movies. There was going to be a bigger story than what we've got, but we're not going to know. So, but on that note, we'll go over to like the next point I'm going to talk about here, which is the post-apocalyptic. Oh, go on.
I just had a thought. Why it might be? It might be because they're bringing him back, and then the vision that Cyborg sees is obviously this post-apocalyptic world that you're going to talk about in a second. That's not the way he's supposed to come back. He's supposed to come back naturally, because obviously the way they've done it is not the way that's supposed to happen, is it?
Yeah, okay.
If you leave him dead long enough, they leave him dead long enough, he will eventually come back. But they boosted it to speed it up, and that's what's caused the issue. That's probably what it is.
I'd be a lot happier with that.
Yeah.
Because does.
That's the trigger thing, isn't it? That's the trigger thing that causes the nightmare post-apocalyptic. Because as soon as they're going to do it, the vision happens.
Yeah.
So
So that's the thing. So with the post-apocalyptic futures, which we saw in BVS and we saw in Justice League 2 times, we saw it at a point when Cyborg's got the hooked into the to the mother box, and hooked into the he's hooked into it and he gets the vision, and we see it again at the end of the movie. It's not a vision. We're told that this is the future. So this is the future that we're going to see. So I'm of the opinion, and I'm going to look back to what we saw in a moment, but I'm of the opinion that the story was meant to actually take us to the future, and that's where the story was going to play out as well at a point, and instead of it being visions. But we were never truly going to know. But what we did see, let's talk about it. So we did get the jump to the future when Cyborg does it, where he sees we saw Lois has been killed by Darkseid, and Darkseid saying her up. That was really cool that we got to see that. And
it's in the Batcave as well.
Yeah,
if you notice, like you got the Robin costume in the background,
and all the computers and stuff,
and the Bat computer as well to the left. So it was, whatever happened, Lois was in the Batcave, and she got burnt to a crisp by something.
Which it would explain as well why Superman blames Batman for Lois's death, because it's going to be in the Batcave. So that was a cool little connection. And then we see, that's the thing that triggers him to go crazy. And we see as well, like Darkseid using the
Omega beams.
Omega beams, yes, Omega beams. That was one thing I really wanted to see in the movie. I'm so glad we got to see it.
And not only that, underwater Omega beams.
Yes,
not just your standard Omega beams.
It also looks like he killed Lois with them, because when she's dead in a crisp, his eyes are glowing just like he's used them. So
I
would love to see how that's played out, but we never will.
So that was really cool. So we saw that. We saw Wonder Woman's death. Well, not her death. We saw her dead. We saw the bit when Darkseid used the Omega beams. He's just killed Aquaman. He has Aquaman pinned up against the rocks. And then we see that great scene, which we saw on like the trailer, where we're moving over the Hall of Justice has been destroyed. You've got Kilowog is lying
Kilowog,
there.
man. Kilowog.
That was really cool. So it's not just a random Green Lantern put in there, but it's one that we know. It's Kilowog.
The one that trains all the other Green Lanterns.
Yes. That was really cool to see that in there.
I love it.
So that was a really cool scene to see there. And then we got at the end of the movie, we see that we jump forward, and then we see that Batman's teamed up with different people working together, Mera and Deathstroke, and Flash. We see him in his armored suit briefly, with what looks like a bit of a CGI'd face to put hair on. His face just looks kind of weird. His armor, you see it closed. It's clearly metal. He clearly can't see anything when that thing's down.
See shit. He doesn't need to see anything. He knows where he's going.
And then we see Joker. So that's cool. We get Jared Leto's Joker in here. But what did you guys think of that exchange there that we have between Batman and Joker for several minutes?
I mean, I'm really glad we got to see them talk, because I know it was one thing that Zack Snyder said was like, we've had Batman in like multiple movies now, and we've had Jared Leto's Joker now, like in the Suicide Squad, and they've never actually interacted bar Batman jumping on his car. Yeah, there was never any dialogue between them. So to have any dialogue between them is great. It was a very, very different Joker, but I guess it's like it's in the future, so he could have changed, or what other people have said, and what I didn't even think about at the time, but he even says it when he's talking to him. He goes, "How many worlds have to die?"
Yes.
So this could be a Joker from another reality.
It seems to be a Joker that's knows a lot more about what's going on than everyone else, because he calls Batman Bruce. He makes a crack about killing Robin, which and then Bruce is like, choose your next words carefully, and then
I love that.
I also love the return of that as well, when he goes and they're talking about people that died. Harley Quinn died in my eyes, and she told me that when I kill you, and I will fucking kill you, to make it slow. And it's just like,
and it sort of put Joker off as well. You notice how he sort of froze. He's like shaking, and he's like, You nearly got me there. So
Yeah.
it's like he obviously does care about Harley and that one. So yeah, and then the whole Joker card makes so much sense as well, because in BVS you saw this sort of rifle that he had with a Joker card sellotaped to it. And you're like, why the hell would Batman have a Joker card sellotaped to a rifle? That makes no sense. Now it does, because he's offered that as a truce, and it's just I mean, it's one of those things that like, if I know there's lots of stuff like there's lots of hashtags and there's like over 3 million things of like reboot the Snyder cut, the Snyderverse, and all this kind of stuff now, but I would love to see a movie just based in that world of just that team.
Well, that's what Justice League 2 was.
That's what Justice League 2 was going to be. Yeah. So on that note, like I'm glad we got to see some of that future, but the way the movie ended was with Darkseid saying, "Ready the fleets. We're going to send the ships over. We're going to go invade Earth." And we see the future with big spaceships like over it, and Superman's evil. So we've seen this is the future. We haven't stopped the future. The story that's been told there, we haven't stopped that future from happening. So it's told the story like, well, that's what's going to happen. The world's going to end. Superman's going to turn evil. So for me, I really like that we saw this Snyder cut of Justice League, but we didn't get the full payoff. We didn't get the full story. We didn't get the actual future post-apocalyptic world. We didn't actually see Flash run back in time to scare Batman through his computer. Where we saw on that, he came, come too soon, I'm too soon. So he clearly needs to do it a couple of times. He needed to go back, run back, be like, oh, I've got to tell Bruce something. Oh, crap, wrong time. Let me try again. And then try again and get the right moment, which presumably would be, to your point that you said, Ross, stopping them from dropping that mother box, doing the mother box thing, and let Superman come back naturally because he's trying to heal. Yes. I would have loved it if we got to see that. Presumably that would have been like the end of Justice League 2, where he comes back and then he stops everything that we've seen happen in Justice League 1 and most of Justice League 2. He stops all of that from happening by going back and stopping them from resurrecting Superman.
It's interesting you say that, because one of the things I've read about, and there's been loads of articles about this was going to happen, this was planned. So it's been hard to pick out what's truth and what isn't, what's people speculating and reporting, main clickbait articles. One of them was that in order to fix all of this, somebody still has to die, and it was going to be, when the timeline was restored, it was going to be Bruce that was going to be the one that sacrificed himself. So I wonder if in that scenario, if the point they come back to stop is them artificially bringing Superman back to life with the mother boxes, they don't have him for the final fight, and the one person that's able to take Steppenwolf out at the cost of his own life is Bruce. At which point, the Justice League have to go on from there, and Superman comes back, and I don't know, but maybe that's too soon, or maybe Bruce was planned to die at the end of the story when Darkseid invades as a way of making penance for killing Superman in the first one. I don't know. It's just one of the things I've seen floating around online, and I'm not sure how much truth there is in that, because there's a clickbait out there at the moment, so it's hard to ascertain what was planned.
One thing that was done is Zack Snyder, when he was so he had his story arc written out for what was going to be Justice League 1 and 2. He had that written out in detail when he'd finished Batman v Superman. And then you got the theatrical cut was released, and there was a bad response to that because it was a theatrical cut, and they removed those key elements, the actual motivation behind Batman and Superman fighting. They removed that to get the storyline down. And then he was told by the studios, you've got to rewrite it. Just start rewriting it. The version of the story that he wrote before then is currently available, I believe. It's on exhibition out in LA somewhere, where you can see, they've got it all set up, that you can see the complete story of what he originally planned for Justice League 1 and 2. And there was an article that was put online. I think one of you guys actually showed it to me. It's a really, really long article, and I think I've only actually made it halfway through, but someone's transcribed everything that was written out and from that exhibition, and you can read the whole story that you had there. So it's out there. We can see exactly what it was. I did see the one bit I did read on it is the bit that you talked about briefly just now a moment ago, Ross, is with Darkseid killing Lois, and it is one of the things that it uses the Omega beams to kill Lois in front of Superman's eyes.
Yeah,
and that's what.
And I'm guessing he's using the anti-life equation to control Superman.
Yeah.
And that's why he can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
He can't
Superman
see what's
is
really in front
key
of him.
to the anti-life
Yeah.
equation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's one thing that I didn't understand though, because the anti-life equation, right, as I'm understanding it, is that big glowy thing in the ground that explains it, and that's maybe where it's located. When he hits the dirt, and that's how Steppenwolf finds out it's back on Earth, and it has the Omega symbol written in it.
Mm-hmm.
Darkseid did that originally back in that flashback, 5,000 years ago. What made him forget it? Was it literally the axe to the shoulder, and he's like passed out, and he completely forgot that it was there?
Somehow
Possibly.
he forgot what planet it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
there
that.
are
Should have
hundreds
written
of
it down.
thousands of populated planets in the DC
Maybe
universe.
that was the 20,000th world he visited that day, and he forgot which one it was.
It was somewhere between 10,000 and 30,000.
Yeah.
What happened?
At some point, I must go back and
The
check.
GPS, bro. We can't go back and look where we were.
What you need to do is you need to go and find Master Yoda and the Younglings and pose the question of why a planet was missing from the archives. And then it's just
There you go. So,
I was going to go back to another thing is I didn't understand was right at the very end of the scene where Steppenwolf goes to fight them right at the end when they turn up. His eyes are glowing blue, but you never find out why because they didn't glow at all up until that point. Is it because the mother box is refusing and then he able to get more power?
I think I saw it's when he puts the third mother box into the little column he's got with the three of them in, and then it forms into one. It starts coming together. It sort of gives him some power, I think, because he seems to be. That's when it seems to happen when his eyes go blue. But it doesn't seem to be enough to him.
Yeah.
He
doesn't say, "Oh, now I have the extra power. I can defeat you" or anything. His eyes glow blue for no reason.
It might lean more into that theory that he's more connected to the other boxes than any of the other characters, and that's why he can boom tube around a lot. And now they're confusing. He's got the power from them.
That would have been cool if he was getting full power. And when they go to attack him, he boom tubes away, and he can come out at different angles and take them out. That would have been fun.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
That would be badass. Like little portals just all around him, just punch him.
Yeah. So no one can hit him. And Superman and Flash are the only ones that are fast enough. That would have been cool.
Like Spider-Man from Infinity War, be like,
yes,
Steppenwolf kick, Steppenwolf slash, Steppenwolf headbutt.
So on that note, guys, what were your favourite moments from Zack Snyder's Justice League? Let's go around the room again.
And give me and do it slowly, so I've got time to pull up an image on the screen. So that's.
I mean, oh man, can I say like two or three? So Martian Manhunter's appearance was great. I know he didn't do a lot, but he looked awesome.
Which one of the appearances? The one with Martha, or the one at the end?
The thing though, that with Martian Manhunter, it's such a good Easter egg. And it ties back to Man of Steel, but it's like, wait a minute, Zod turned up in Earth and decided to destroy it. You did fuck all.
Yes.
Batman and Superman started fighting. You did fuck all. Doomsday turned up. You did fuck all. It's like, where the hell were you, man? And it's like, he goes, I don't want to be involved in any of this drama. I'll wait till you guys become a group of friends, and then I'll come and help you.
No one helped save Mars when Mars was burning. None of you guys
nobody saved my planet. I'll come here to watch it. Yeah, but I would. For me, because for me that doesn't make a lot of sense of him not helping. That when that guy was in Man of Steel and then he helped Lois in BVS, it wasn't Martian Manhunter at that point. And then after Lex found out when he got put in prison that he'd helped Lois, figure it out and put him in prison, he had him killed. Then Martian Manhunter then took up that mantle, and that's why he's only just turned up because maybe he was there when he got killed. He tried to save him, but he was too late. Then he took it on because he's got quite high power in the government. He can get somewhere. He's already friends with Lois and people. He can use that to try and work his way in. That's how I'd like to see it. I mean,
someone's just mentioned.
You saw with the morphing you had there. Maybe he was Martha Kent the whole time.
I saw that in the comments.
Maybe he is Superman's son.
Or maybe the shockwave went all the way to Mars.
Yeah.
He was like, "The hell was that?" He went to go see what's going on. So yeah. So there's that bit. Oh god, there's so many. The Flash. I love the Flash as a character, and that film actually made me not dislike the Flash because I saw the comics still was show, but it put me off the Flash for a little bit. And I was such a I was so like, oh, I don't
Zack
really want to see it.
Snyder's Justice League put you off, Flash?
No. The Josh Whedon one.
Oh,
did.
okay, yeah.
And this one got me excited about it because when
He
it was
made him
like,
a goofy little character that didn't do anything in the first one.
it was like, oh, there's gonna be a Flash movie. I'm like, I don't really want to see him as the Flash because he's like not good. But now I do because he was awesome in it. So that was a big one. And Alfred, I love Jeremy Irons as Alfred. I think he's awesome. Some of the lines he has in this film are great. There's the one about tea when Diana's making the tea and he's like, wait.
Yeah.
Wanna leave
Put the water in first.
Yeah.
Then we let it simmer. Then we let it mash.
And then when they all come down into the Batcave, Batman's like, "This is Alfred. I work for him." And he's, "Oh, well, nice one, Alfred."
Yeah.
I was like,
he's like,
badass,
I'll go see if I can find any cups.
Yeah.
I don't think we got enough. Yeah.
Love it. So yeah, my main bits.
All right, then, Ross.
I mean,
Go
you
through them
can't.
quickly to keep Rob on his toes.
Thanks.
Obviously, the moment again with Flash reversing time was just phenomenal when he's like tapping into the Speed Force. I mean, he teased it all the way through, and he goes, "I can't do that. I can't. I can't go that far." And then when he was like, "No, this is the moment. I've got to do it." I mean, visually, emotionally, it was perfect. It really was. I mean, actually, no. If it was Yellow Lightning, it would be perfect. But I mean, the thing I think I said at the end when we watched it the first time was because a lot of the main parts of the film were in the Josh Whedon. You kind of, when you're watching it, you're like, when it's an action scene, whether it be them taking on Steppenwolf in that under Stryker's Island, which they renamed for some reason in the Josh Whedon one. There's so many good fight scenes in that you kind of, when you're watching it again on the Snyder cut, in your mind, you're like, I've seen this, move on, come on, get to the new bits. I want to see some fresh stuff, which is so disappointing because all the fight scenes, everything choreographed, the CGI, everything is just so good. So for me, I think the thing that I like the most is, I've said it many times, that I'm a very visual person. If something doesn't look the way I want it to look, even if the story's really good, I don't enjoy it as much. And the same with BVS. You can pause this movie at any moment and it looks amazing. Like, it looks like something that's jumped out of the comic book. And I think just the overall visuals for me is my favorite thing. Like, I don't think anybody will look as good as Batman as Ben Affleck. For me, he's the perfect Batman visually. I think he's just superb. Same with Superman, Wonder Woman. So, I mean, Flash, maybe somebody with blonde hair would probably be better because that's Barry, to me, has always got blonde hair. But I love the costumes. I love the world. I love everything visually about that movie. It's just top notch for me.
Funnily for me, complimenting Ross there, my favourite part of this is the fact that we have 4 hours to play with is the narrative depth the film gets a lot more of. You get little moments of backstory or banter between there's Aquaman and Barry, and I can't find the photo. Sorry, Ross, I know you pulled it up. when they're trying to break into the base, and they got, hey, which cap looks better, A or B? Go back to A. Yeah.
No, let's go back to A.
You just get
and then he's actually wearing B when you next see.
Yeah. There's little bits that help you get these characters to get in there. There's more story added. There's like that whole scene.
It makes you fall in love with him, doesn't it? It really does.
Well, there's the whole scene. One of the things I noticed on someone else's review, which I will parrot, not ad verbatim, but is when you, after they failed on Themyscira to protect the mother box, and in the Joss Whedon cut, Diana's mum Hippolyta just goes straight to getting an arrow and off to go and warn Diana. And in this one, you get a whole scene dedicated to why this arrow is important, what the temple's all about, and then it cuts to, she fires it off, it cuts to Diana, and she's talking to the museum curators, and then she understands what that means, because it's the temple of the Amazons that's on fire, and then she goes into the basement and sees all of the story
of Darkseid,
which she then interprets to Bruce, and we get the flashback, and then you get all the cool scenes from that, and all of the Joss Whedon stuff has been cut out. All of the stupid jokes that didn't land very much have gone, and you've gotten some proper character development moments, which I think, for me, because I'm a very story-focused guy as well as visuals, that's important for me. So complementing that with Ross, me and Ross are both. Okay, you've done the right parts on that, yeah.
That's the thing, like, because this movie is meant to set up this world.
Yes.
And because it's all cut out, the Josh Whedon one didn't work, because you've just got so many questions, nothing's answered, and you're just lost coming out of the movie. But this one, you just get the whole world is set up in front of you, and unfortunately, at the end, you just want more. But you know you're not going to get it because it's the way. I mean, in an ideal world, if they can't, HBO, Warner Bros. Can't come to some sort of deal and they don't make any more, I'd be quite happy if they did a comic book run of just telling that story. I'd be quite happy with that.
I saw one of our commenters, Mike Gow, in the comments has asked, do we want to see it as an animated version instead of comics?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you kind of half got that with that Justice League Apocalypse War movie, but they could obviously make it more streamlined,
more accurate. Yeah.
But it's kind of like what they would do because they go and attack Apocalypse.
Yeah.
I'd be quite happy with anything to sort of find out what happens. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just
anything, I'm happy with.
Just to properly answer that question,
I'd love a comic most. I think.
Yeah.
Just to properly answer your question, then I think that out of all the narrative changes they made, the best part for me, because it was right at the start of the film and got me really invested in what they were going to do with it, was the changes to the Amazonians and how they handled Steppenwolf's arrival. It just made, rather than, oh, these guys are using bow and arrows and they just had their asses kicked. It was like, no, these guys are warriors born and bred. They're fighting to the death. They've dropped this pit on him into the ocean because that was their plan the entire time, and it wasn't enough. And it's only
and Steppenwolf only just got away. He ran away, didn't he?
Yeah.
He fled.
Yeah.
He didn't win.
So for me, because that was at the start and it set up, oh, this is different. This is going to be something completely different in tone to what we've seen. That's my favourite part of the film. So.
And you,
for me, my favorite parts of the film, it's similar to what you guys have mentioned already. Flash, when he's running so fast that he's traveling through time. That looked amazing. So that was a really cool part. I'm really glad we got to see that. And the Flash of the future, where we saw Darkseid had killed Lois, and then Darkseid using the Omega beams. That was my other favorite part. Like seeing the post-apocalyptic future was what I was really looking for in this movie. Which is why I also ended the movie feeling kind of disappointed, a little bit cheated that I didn't actually get to see more of that. I was really hoping that we would see more of that, and specifically Flash running back in time to tie in to BVS. I was really hoping we'd get that, but we've got part one of what is a two-part, and we're not gonna get it in movie form, at least, because Zack Snyder has said he is done now with superhero movies, so he's not doing any more superhero movies.
Is that even despite which I saw this morning trending is that hashtag Restore the Snyderverse has become the #1 trending thing with the most number of people trending it.
It's been Endgame, isn't it?
It's been it's so.
I mean, what I would say is I'd like to never say never, because we never thought we'd get this Snyder cut ever. I mean, I never thought I'd see this guy.
I got the Josh Whedon version on Blu-ray, and I'd never take out the cellophane to watch it because I was hoping we'd get it. 4 years away, but it's finally.
Yeah.
So mentioning. Oh, sorry, go on, Stuart.
I was going to say, I just said never say never, because there's things that are happening at the moment for comic book sort of sci-fi fans, like things like spoilers. If you haven't watched it, Stuart, like the Mandalorian. At the end of the Mandalorian, who comes back? I never thought that would ever happen. We spoke about that episodes before. Like, never going to happen. Never do it. They never do it, and they did it. So it's like I just don't say never anymore. I'm like, so I mean, one of the big questions that this guy called Kazi keeps is asked on the chat before, and also asking here as well, is like, would you guys want Zack Snyder to carry on doing the films, or are you happy with him to leave and never come back, and for them to sort of go in a new direction? If the option was there, if Zack wanted to, and Warner Brothers said, yeah, you can do your other two movies, would you want to see it?
So first up, I would say I love Zack Snyder as a director, and I loved Watchmen. I love Man of Steel, Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, and I really love Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'd love to see him come and finish up the rest of the Justice League story. He doesn't need to be involved in the other superhero movies, though, because I feel like they each should have their own. They'd be able to be their own thing, just like Shazam was its own thing. It exists within the same world, and it's connected to the Zack Snyder ones. But Shazam needed a different tone, so they were able to pull that off, and it didn't have Zack Snyder doing it. So I think there's a benefit to not having Zack Snyder in all the other movies.
It's kind of mirroring my thoughts on it as well. Now, I like this film, and I like Zack Snyder as a visual director. I'm one of the few people who seems to enjoy the Watchmen movie for what it was. And
I love the Watchmen movie.
it's 300. All of his visual projects. I just don't think he gets. And I know, Ross, this might bug you. I don't know if it bugs you as much as it bugs me, but the way he handles some of the characterization of the DC characters, I don't think he gets them. And that's going to sound like a real snobbish comic book nerd thing to say, but I'm glad we got this film, and I really like this film compared to what was come before it. I still don't like BVS. I'm willing to go back and watch it again, Ross, Stu, before you jump on me. I'm going to give it another chance. Now I've seen this, I'll go back and give it another chance. But for me, Zack Snyder doesn't handle these characters well, and I think the fact that Wonder Woman, the first film at least, was handled out of his purview by Patty Jenkins. God knows what she did with 84. Shazam.
I reckon that's Warner Brothers. Probably.
Yeah, Shazam was handled by a different team, and they fitted the tone better for Shazam as a more comedic movie. Aquaman was James Wan, and that was more action.
Aquaman was great.
Yeah, so
that's probably my favourite. To say Aquaman's probably my
like
favourite.
you say, I'd like to see where this core movie franchise is going to go, but I'm quite happy for Zack Snyder not to be involved in the rest of the DC universe as it goes forward.
He doesn't need to be. It's not a case of he has to be cut out. It's just he doesn't need to be involved in it for the other movies to be good.
I mean, like, if you're going to do a continuation and do Justice League 2, I feel like you kind of need it to be him, because obviously he started everything. I mean, you just have to look at Star Wars, where somebody starts something off and somebody else tries to finish it. It just doesn't work. But if you're doing other DC character films, or if you're doing Man of Steel 2 or whatever, then I feel like somebody else can do it. Because I'm in the same boat as Rob, where Zack Snyder, he's 80% there. There's 20% that I don't agree with him. Like, I enjoy BVS, but I don't enjoy it as an Earth 1 Prime Batman and Superman. I see it as an Elseworld story. It's what if. Because, like, for me, I think I've read somewhere, and I have seen a picture of Dick Grayson's tombstone. So the Robin that died in his movie is Dick Grayson, and for me, that's a no-no.
That's a no.
That's a question that's actually come up from.
Yeah, that's what reminded me of it.
Angelica's, I hate that.
And that's why for me, I see it as an Elseworld story. It's what if, because for me, Dick Grayson is the best Robin, and it's the one that I feel like Bruce Wayne, he thinks is the best Robin, and he's the one that wants to take over his legacy when he dies. And the reason why Batman, because the one thing I don't like in BVS is Batman killing, and it would be the only reason why I feel like Batman would start killing is if the Joker did kill Dick Grayson. Because he thinks that he's the main Robin in my mind. So, but then you've got him killing away, but the Joker's still alive. It's like, that's the whole point of the Red Hood story, is Jason is annoyed at Bruce because Joker killed me, but you didn't kill him back, because Joker was trying to make Batman break his rule, but he didn't, because he is true and he stayed a hero and he didn't kill Joker. But in this version, he just starts killing anyway, but he doesn't kill the one person that made him kill in the first place. So it's things like that where I don't want, like, say for instance, if nobody had ever read any Superman Batman comics, but they wanted to get into it, I wouldn't recommend them to go and see Man of Steel, then BVS first of all, because it's not the way I want them to see the characters the very first time. You have to go and watch the animated series. You have to learn them from that way, read the comics.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's so different to the way I want the characters to be. This whole universe that Zack Snyder has created is a Elseworld story, but if you can go all the way to Justice League 3 and reverse everything, because he's going to have to do something if this nightmare scene is the future.
Yeah.
That you can go back, because the one thing in Man of Steel that I don't like, and I never will, but I love the rest of the movie, is him killing Zod. I remember seeing that in the cinema, and when they were fighting and like Zod is learning to use his powers and they're fighting and they're destroying Metropolis, in my mind the whole way through that scene I'm going, how's he going to do this without killing him? Because I know in my mind Superman doesn't kill. Like, you watch Smallville for 10 years and he always finds a way to never kill. And when you see that, and then when he killed him, I was just in shock, because I was like, that's not Superman. What the hell is this? So I would love it in Justice League 3 or whatever it is, that when the Flash goes back in time, because it has to be the Flash, does something to change this turn of events, that he goes back to the beginning, the end of Man of Steel, and puts Zod in a like when the Phantom Zone closes up, he kind of keeps it open somehow, and Zod goes in there, so Superman never kills, which then means Batman never hates him, never goes down the road of BVS, and then it turns out the way I want it to. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, speaking of things that were being different and stuff, obviously this version, Zack Snyder's Justice League, is very different from what we got from Joss Whedon's Justice League. But if you absolutely, gun to your head, had to pick one scene from, or one moment from the Joss Whedon movie to put into this one, what one would it be? You can't say no, you have to pick one.
Oh,
so,
I go on.
Stuart.
The end credits. No.
Seeing it in the cinema.
There is one shot that was in the Joss Whedon cut that isn't in this one, which I loved, which was actually they swapped it for like the big tank thing. But there's a bit where Gordon puts the bat signal on, and then Batman sort of turns around and his Batwing flies up behind him. Like that was my phone wallpaper for ages because I thought that was such an awesome shot. I know they swapped it out for like the Dark Knight Returns big tank thing, which is also cool. But I just loved that shot when he turned around and that with the bat signal with the bat plane with Batman in a shot. I was just like, that's awesome. So I thought that was actually Zack Snyder. I didn't realize it was reshot. So I enjoyed that moment. I picked that one.
Go on then, Ross.
I've got 1.5. So the first one in the main scene is when they're just about to get ready to go to Russia and stop Steppenwolf. Is Aquaman is giving his honest thoughts of, I really like your guy, really like this. I don't think it's going to work. I think we're all going to die. And you find out that he's sitting on the lasso. I thought that was brilliant because it reminded me a lot of the animated movie Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Steve Rogers has got his foot caught up in the plane and he's giving his honest thoughts to Diana. That's what it reminded me of, and I really like that. I thought that was really good.
That's not the one. No, it's the other one where he's like, your daughter's got a great rack or something when he's talking to
the
and she's got it wrapped up on his
She's got him tied up, and then the other half bit for me is, it doesn't make any sense, but there's something about John Williams. So when Superman comes in and the John Williams music is playing, I love that in the thing, but it wouldn't make any sense in Zack Snyder's one. So you've got that Joss Whedon version that was fan-made, that they added that music in. So.
Fan made. I don't think Josh Whedon's a fan of DC. I think that's a problem. Anyway.
Yeah.
Rob.
Oh god, I don't know. I'm going to get some flack for this because without having to go back and watch the film again, which I am never going to do. No, I've seen this version. The only scene I can think of, which you guys haven't already mentioned and would kind of fit the tone because it was only a brief scene, was the Flash versus Superman race at the end. Because you've kind of introduced Flash as you already know he's a fast character now in this film, and you've seen him see Superman look at him in that scene, so it still makes sense for him to want to try and find out just how fast Superman actually is. But we all know the Flash is the fastest. But I mean, you could make it a bit less jokey and without Flash doing that weird like run thing that he does in the scene, but kind of up it a bit and.
Superman's face not looking completely PS2.
Well, just weird.
Not looking like Liam does at the moment with his shaved moustache.
I say Liam. I think your brother's on the chat.
Yeah, I saw that.
Without beard. King Stuff is very unhappy with your beard.
Yes.
Your beardless thing.
Sorry, Stuff. I trimmed it too much. It went too short. Thanks for tuning in, though, Stuff. So, for me, I'd say with Whedon, I do like that he had some fun kind of little moments in it, just like the Aquaman sitting on the lasso of truth. I thought that was great. The Flash and Superman run at the end was a fun thing, even though Superman's face looks weird. And I actually thought that, it was kind of a cute little moment when they're in the when Flash runs around, he tips the sword to Wonder Woman. You've got that whole sequence, and he ends up on top of her and then quickly stands up. I thought that was a cute little thing that I liked in the Whedon one. So one of the things that you got from the Whedon movies was that you got short little fun moments sprinkled in there. Zack Snyder's one it's like all business. There's very little fun moments in there. Aquaman and Flash talking about the hats was one of the very few little fun moments.
There was another line as well when they're digging up Superman's grave, and Barry says something to Cyborg like, "Do you think she dates younger guys?" He turns to her and goes, "She's 109 years old, dude." It's just like,
like 5,000 years old.
5,000 years old, yeah.
Every younger guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also did love. I know it's kind of, it is in. It's not the Josh Whedon one, but one bit I totally forgot to mention, like a funny bit, was the bit at the end where Bruce and Clark are talking. He's just like, "Oh, thanks for getting the farm bag. Like, how'd you do it?" He goes, "I bought the bag."
Yeah.
It's like, I just thought that was. I know it's in both versions, but I just thought that line is just genius. I really love that line.
So, are there any questions or any comments in the live chat?
There's so many comments. There's actually people just having a good old chat about the Snyder Cut.
If you're managing, Stu, by all means, fire away, and we will try to answer some of the
stuff. There's not that many actual questions.
Well, someone kicked off. Put a question out there.
Someone said, yes. There was one about the Dick Grayson thing that we already spoke about.
Yeah, guys in the chat, if you want us to answer some Q&As, now's the time to put them straight in the comments, and we'll answer them live. So,
yeah, definitely. Because at the moment there is.
Saying about Dick Grayson, a friend of mine who was talking to, he had the theory that Joker is Dick Grayson.
Yeah, I hate that.
What do you guys think
I hate
that?
No.
The one good thing about Dick Grayson, he's the only part of the Bat family that Joker, one of the few of the Bat family that Joker hasn't affected. That's what I love about him so much. He's we did a podcast with a friend called Anthony. Me and Ross got invited to do it. It was top 5 superheroes, and my favorite superhero is Dick Grayson. It's not. You would think it's Batman because I have Batman things everywhere, but he's actually Dick Grayson is my favorite superhero because of just his character, and I think maybe because of my age and reading him, it was just the looking up to Batman. And the fact he doesn't want to be Batman makes him even cooler. I think that's that sort of thing of and then there's the whole bit where Batman dies and he has to become Batman and he hates it. But he knows that the world needs a Batman because there's the whole Battle of the Cow story where Tim and Jason are both being Batman and it's just not working. He's just like, right, okay, I will do it. I don't want to, but the world needs a Batman, so I will do it until we find something better. And then obviously Batman comes back anyway.
Without bigging Dick up too much here, there's a comic. There's a part I particularly love. I think it's in Infinite Crisis, which is a bad story arc, but it's in the prelude to that. Superboy's found out that he's part Luthor, and Luthor's used that to control him, and he's attacked the Teen Titans, and so he's hiding out on the Kent farm whilst the rest of the Titans are off fighting in Infinite Crisis. He realises he needs to get out of his stupor and go help. He goes to the Teen Titans tower, puts his Superboy shirt back on, I'm going to go help. And he hears all these calls coming in from all over the place that people need help. Where can I go to help fight? Because the whole world's in peril. He doesn't know what to go and do. And the only person that answers his call for help is Dick Grayson, who shows up. And then the two of them go to the North Pole where the Anti-Monitors constructed this tower, which is going to the tuning fork to and on the way there, Dick Grayson just shows how much of a leader he is by talking him through everything that's gone in Superboy's life and just telling him, you're a hero, you do what you fucking got to do. And it's such a great pep talk. And then Superboy gets there, and then he realises that he is the one that can stop the Anti-Monitor, and he sacrifices his life to save the entire world. And it's such a good moment. And it's all due to Dick being a great leader. And that's why Dick Grayson is awesome, and anyone that tries to kill him off can go fuck themselves.
Yes, yeah, that's one of the things. One thing that scares me is that suit in that Batcave is meant to be Dick Grayson. It just scares me a lot. So another question, like loads of people just asked the same question, is what did we think the pregnancy test in Lois's drawer means? And also, I totally didn't catch this, but at the end, with that whole I bought the bank thing, apparently I don't remember this story. Bruce walks off with Clark to the thing, and he says, "Oh, congratulations, by the way." And Martha's holding a baby cot box.
Okay.
So I'm guessing she's pregnant with Superman's kid. Didn't catch that.
I did not catch that. I'm going to have to go back and look now.
Yeah. So what do we think? I mean, I know there was reports that Zack Snyder's sort of thing, if he got to do more, was that Lois and Clark have a kid together, and then he grows up without any powers and becomes the next Batman. Yeah, which would have been pretty cool. I mean, it's a bit of a different take, but I can see that happening. It's a pretty nice little sort of full circle thing.
I know.
I don't like the idea of Superman's kid growing up to become Batman.
Yeah,
It just seems if you're raised by Superman, how could you end up being like Batman? They're just too different.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. You don't have powers.
Well, they're kind of already covering Super Kids in the Lois and Clark, Superman and Lois show, which is awesome, by the way. If any of you in the comments have been turned off by CW shows, go and watch this. It's great.
Yeah, it's very good.
And that's kind of handling.
And of course, check out our channel where we have reactions.
Only because you're actually in that one. Don't start being yourself.
Yeah. Ignore the other reaction videos. That one, best reactions.
There's another question here. Like, did you guys like the introduction of Aquaman more in this one?
Yeah.
Introductions. I mean, I also something we didn't actually mention is Vulko shows up in this one as well. I quite like that scene added into the film.
Well, he's the one that gets Mega Beam, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's the one that's swimming away.
Yeah, I saw
that.
Yeah.
But him going to sort of the King Atlantis like sort of statue, and then like Vulko coming going, it's time. Here's your mother's trident. It's time to step up and do stuff. Like that was awesome, and it all makes more sense now when you see him in the Aquaman movie. It's like, oh, there's that guy from the Justice League film. Like,
you have to,
know who he was.
maybe the guys in the comment chat can remind me if this will they film the Aquaman concurrently to this the original
I don't think
cut?
so.
Because the film gets maybe it's the benefit of having the hindsight and then having the 4 hours worth of footage to put back in this. There's all those little snippets of Mira talking to the guards in the box room to explain that King Orm was being a knob and trying to declare war on the surface rather than focusing on the guarding important artifacts, which makes sense to why when Steppenwolf shows up there's only like 4 Atlanteans guarding it. And there's all these little bits that lead more into Aquaman's story that are, I think, a bonus of having had Aquaman come out first, so you can have all that storyline that you know what to put in the prequel movie. So, but yeah, either way, it makes his introduction and his backstory leading into Aquaman the film in this great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, there's a quick question from John Charles saying, "Did anyone catch the homoerotic line from the Joker?" I didn't remember that one.
Yeah, he said, "I'll give you a reach around."
Oh yeah, that one.
Oh, okay. Nice. Cool. Okay. Do you reckon you'll bother watching it in black and white when it comes out?
Nope.
It's already out.
It is out on black and white.
Is it?
4 hours is long.
Yep.
I've seen bits. I've watched bits of it. And you know what? It's funny. I like it. The fact that it's square in black and white. It feels better watching it in black and white as square than in color. I found it annoying that it was square in color, and I really want to just watch it in widescreen. But the black and white, the square didn't bother me as much. It looked nice. It looked very pretty. But it's 4 hours, so I don't know if I can sit down to watch 4 hours of it in black and white. Know.
Did you watch? Like I said, so Angelica's asked. I can answer it for us three, but I don't know about you, Liam. So Angelica's asked, did you guys watch it in 4 hours straight or take breaks? So the three of us watched it back to back in 4 hours. But what did you do, Liam? Did you take breaks?
I tried to watch it all in one go, but it hit a point I was too late. It was too late in the night, and that I started watching it, and I got too tired, so we had to stop about halfway through and then finish it the next day. So we watched it in 2
Did you stop it at the end of a chapter, or did you just stop it halfway through?
Stopped it right at a chapter. Yeah.
I think.
I wouldn't have mind watching it in chapter form because I feel like there's so much to take.
Yeah.
Like watching it. Say if you watched it every week, same day every week, you'd have had that whole week to process stuff and so go, oh yeah, that was cool. I wonder if they'll do this. I wonder if they'll do that. I hope this is in it. Then when you see it, you can unfold.
I think that's a cunning plan they might have done there because you can, like you say, watch it either way. My brother's my brother who is going to go. He's never seen this Justice League. He thought the original looked awful, and I said to him, no, you go watch this one now because if I hate the first one and I like this one, you're going to enjoy it too. I said to him, look, it's even divided into chapters, so you don't have to because he works. Even though everyone else is on furlough in the UK, he's still being called into work. It's like, I can watch 30 minutes or the 40 because it's in different lengths. But I can watch a chapter, then I can come back to it. Whereas we sat down and watched it in 4 hours, and either way, I think works great. So
I think if there wasn't the previous version and we were just watching the chapters and we didn't know anything that was going to happen, it would be great. But because we watched the Joss Whedon cut, you kind of know what's going to happen anyway. So I don't know. Interesting. Really good question. Really good question. Wait. Let's go on to this one. I like this question. So if you could have, I don't know, 3's a bit much. Maybe we just go for 1. But he goes this. But Commander Steel Trap, which is a great username, is if you could have 3 heroes appear in the Justice League sequel that haven't been teased in the universe yet, who would they be?
Oh, haven't been teased yet.
Yeah, haven't been teased.
I know who Liam's going to pick.
You don't answer for me. Go on.
Booster Gold.
Yep, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. Absolutely. That's 2 of my characters. That will be awesome. Third, I don't have a third one. That's my choice. Go on.
I would say 3 might be a bit much.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, the Green Lantern's already been teased, haven't they? Because I'd like Kyle Rayner, but you've already had Green
That's
Lantern.
the thing. We've already had Green Lanterns teased. So someone that's completely not.
Well, I don't know.
I've got a feeling Hawk Girl, just because the nostalgia from the original cartoon.
Yeah.
Just, I would like to see that. But I feel like you'd also want Jon Stewart there at the same time to have their chemistry.
Well, apparently, the rumor was that the end bit with Martian Manhunter was meant to be
Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart fly down, but Warner Brothers wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
So
they wouldn't allow Superman to have a mullet either when he came back.
I don't know if it was considered.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's considered a tease or not because she was never rumored to have been in it. But the Supergirl, who
Well, she's now been cast for the Flash movie, so we're gonna see her.
Yeah.
Which again begs the question: where the hell was she during all this time?
I'll tell you who. He's not a hero. Did it say only heroes or anybody?
Well, you can stretch the definition. Go on. What he was?
He said heroes, but doesn't. Go.
I would go Reverse Flash because
that'd be
where you've got Barry altering time at the end, saving it. Him coming up to him and said, "Barry, you shouldn't have done that," and you're like, "Why should I have done that?" And then you find out it's because it's the nightmare scene. That would have been quite cool.
Oh wait, I just lost the question. Someone literally put, where was it? What do you think is going to happen in the Flash movie? Okay, XYZ. After watching the Snyder Cut, what do you guys think is going to happen in the Flash movie? So Reverse Flash is going to show up. Apparently, Ross. Anything else?
I think Flash is going to run back in time, change something. It's going to affect the future, and then he's going to need to undo it. That's what I think will happen.
Damn it, Barry.
You mean like Flashpoint? I mean, I would love to see. So in the Flashpoint story, you've got Wonder Woman versus Aquaman. I would love to see Jason Momoa against Gal Gadot. That would be.
I want to see.
That'd be great.
Who's the guy that played Thomas Wayne from?
I only know him as Negan from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But
What's his
I know
name?
him as Sam and Dean's dad from Supernatural.
What is this? Dean Morgan?
That's the one.
Yeah, Dean something Morgan.
I would love to see him as Batman.
God, that'd be
Thomas
so good.
Wayne. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That would be. I feel like that's the reason why they cast him, because they want him to be Batman at some point. Because that would have been amazing.
Yeah, you could do the Flashpoint. I know they said they're going to change it, but you could do the Flashpoint movie quite easy, like with the characters they've got. But yeah, I'd love to see a Jason Momoa versus Gal Gadot fight. Oh, it'd be so
and Behead Mera as well.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, I don't know if Amber Heard's going to return anyway.
I mean, Henry Cavill's got to really lose some weight. I suppose they could CGI him like they did with Chris Evans for the first Captain America movie.
I mean, he'd probably love it because you mean I don't have to work out? For sweet, that sounds great.
He'd look awful as the Witcher, though.
Yeah. Be a really weird season of Witcher.
Yeah, you can feel between it. Yeah. Cool. What else we got?
Any other questions?
No. Got your brother talking
Dean
about.
Morgan. That's it. Thanks, Ross.
Yeah.
What's Stoff saying?
He's still ripping on your beard.
My beard! My own beard!
My own beard! My beard!
I've seen 3 times. Oh, Plastic Man, someone said.
Oh,
looting.
Oh, Plastic Man.
That'd be quite funny.
I really want to see Carl Rayner and Plastic Man interact because I love whenever they're in the comics. He obviously does.
I want because we were talking about.
I'd love to see the question.
Yeah, actually.
Oh,
I love that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
We can lose them like airline luggage.
Because we were literally talking. We were literally talking about some of the stranger side of DC in the last podcast we did, and they've literally just cast Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. It's like. Yes, please. I can just. He's spot on for Kent Nelson.
Someone's putting the questions like, "What do you think of?" Because obviously Black Adam's been given a release date for next year now. Like, are you excited? Are we excited to see that film?
I was going to say that because I never watched any of the fandom stuff, and it wasn't until we came back after the first lockdown that you guys showed me the trailers, and we never watched the teaser for Black Adam, and I watched it yesterday.
Oh, cool!
And when they set that movie up, I thought it was going to be him back 2,000 years ago in Kandak, show how he was a slave and then he got the powers and he became a hero and then the power overtook him and he eventually became the villain and the wizard took him out. That's how I thought the movie was going to go. But when you watch the teaser, it kind of, you got The Rock talking over it and he's like, I was trapped 2,000 years ago and then I'm now back. So it's going to be in the present, which I didn't think they were going to do. I thought they were going to do like a movie back, like a prequel, as it were, and then in the sequel of Shazam, you then understand when he turns up. But it looks like it's going to be him turning up in it, which I thought was really
that might be interesting because it might be him turning up as a villain in the with Billy Batson trying to take him on, and then you get his backstory as it goes on, where he becomes more of a sympathetic character. Because I'm sure The Rock must know, but does he know he's playing a villain? Because he's got mad charisma, and he always comes across.
Because in that teaser, it's got a picture, it's like a concept art of him sitting on that throne with like the dragons and stuff. And he's like, and now I'm back, and nobody is going to imprison me again. And it's like, oh yeah, that man was made to play Black Adam. Man. He's perfect.
Oh, he absolutely
He just needs pointy ears
the
and
most
a
perfect casting thing. But you made the point, like, does he know he's playing a villain? I think he's one of those villains, like all good villains, where they think they're the good guy.
Yeah.
You know, So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I think Black Adam's, this is going to be great, and I love that Pierce Brosnan's going to be in it.
Yeah, I'll just say that I wasn't going into Shazam with a lot to expect, and I came out of it loving that movie because it was just a light-hearted, fun romp with some really good acting in it, and I was like, fine. And if they do more of the same, it's probably going to be quite good. Especially like you say, they've got the cast list for it's growing by the day, and it's got some good actors in there. So
cool.
Going back to the Flash movie, do you think? Because in the CW crossover, obviously Ezra Miller turned up in the Flash. They'll show that in the movie how he got there.
I hope so.
No, I don't think they'll do that. It would be great if they did.
Because at the end of the movie, he's going to run back in time to try and save it, and then it kind of detours, and he ends up in a few different places, and one of them is the CW shows. That would be a really nice.
It would be really good if they did that tip of the hat to the TV shows. That would be really cool. For them
even if they do a similar thing, when like Flash is running in the CW show in the first few seasons, you kind of see the little things, bit of it. Yeah, and one of them in the back of when he's running back in the movie at the end, it's just you just see Grant Gustin's Flash, and then that's it. And you're like, that's it. That's the tie-in. That's all we need.
Yeah, awesome.
That'd be great.
That's nice. You just answered one of the questions there, Russell. Okay, what?
Really?
Someone's asking about that. So two things for you. So we've got Oscar is asking, like, would you like to see Brainiac in the DCEU?
Yeah, in Man of Steel 2.
Yes, please. Yeah. Who else would you have as a bad guy?
We were teased on our first ever show we reacted to on Krypton with Brainiac and Lobo, and they've proved they can make him work in a live action format. So yeah, with a bit more budget behind him, sure, let's see what they can do.
I'm still fingers crossed that the computer that Captain Luthor is talking to in Superman and Lois is Brainiac.
That would be awesome.
Or Skeets. Or Skeets.
Someone said it looks like Skeets.
Yeah.
That brings it. Cool. Okay. So Looting's put. You have to pick
Looting. That's Callum. Hi, Callum.
Yeah. You have to pick the next villain in the next movie. Who would you choose?
I still want my Deathstroke movie. I want my Deathstroke Batman fight. God damn it!
Oh man, especially because they changed that whole scene with Lex Luthor and Deathstroke, where he goes, "Oh, his name is Bruce Wayne, by the way." That sets up that Batman Deathstroke movie so much. It's ridiculous.
It reminds me a lot of like when Deathstroke comes back off the island in season 2 of Arrow, and he knows he's Oliver Queen, and he teases him throughout that whole season. If you could have that with Bruce Wayne, it'd be great.
Yeah. What we got? So we got Ashley Hardman says, if Barry is changing things, would it be cool if he negated Dick Grayson's death and we get Nightwing? Hell yes.
Yes.
Or he ends up. Or he ends up in the future and we get a live-action Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond.
Oh, also, hell yeah! So Michael Keaton is. Sign me up.
We have talked about this for years now about how Michael Keaton right now looks like Old Man Bruce from Batman Beyond cartoon. Make that damn show. Michael Keaton sit in a chair, be the computer guy, and hire someone as actor for Terry McGinnis, do a Batman Beyond show. It would be so good.
I want the guy that plays Dick Grayson from Titans to be Terry McGinnis because he looks like Terry McGinnis to me.
That'd be great.
But, yes, I would love to see that. I mean, I'm going to probably go on Stu's bad list, but I think I prefer Batman Beyond over the animated series. There's something about it that I just absolutely love.
We're off the air. Cut the
Hang on, can I cut his video feed? Where is he?
I love it so much. It's so good. I mean, I love the animated series as well, but there's something about Batman Beyond that I just absolutely love. I don't know. It's just something about seeing how they all progress throughout the years. Because when you watch the animated series, you're never going to see what happens, but you do with this.
It's a great story. It's an absolute genius thing. But yeah, I think I'll do one final question because it'll be a really quick one.
Yep.
Is would you have been interested in seeing an Atom movie? Because obviously we got Ryan Chow in the movie.
Would you have been interested in seeing another movie based on a DC character?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose the question would be,
we get kind of spoiled at this point if we're saying no.
Given that, well, the thing is, Ryan Choi's an interesting character, and especially if you bring Ray Palmer in as his mentor. But the thing is, he's not a new character anymore. You've had him in Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow before, and you've also had a size-changing hero appear quite prominently in the MCU. So he's not going to have the same gimmick unless they go down the more science route that he does in the comics quite a bit when he's playing around in the microverse with the atoms and take things that way. That would be an interesting way of taking it, but you've already had that kind of power set before, so you wouldn't really be seeing anything. You have to find something new to do with it.
He could fight Giganta. That'd be pretty good.
Do something else with Gigantor if Harley Quinn shows anything to go by. But
Dr. Psycho.
Dr. Psycho is the best one.
I'll give you $30 to go in your pocket.
I love that show, so I can't wait for season 3 to come back at that. Good stuff. That's it.
So that it on the questions? That's it.
Cool.
All right, well, that's it for this episode of Legends of Podcasting. Let us know what you guys thought about Justice League in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and also look for the podcast across all podcasting platforms. So look for Legends of Podcasting. And subscribing to the YouTube channel is doubly important, so you'll be notified in a couple of days when we re-release this exact same episode, but in black and white.
Which I, of course, won't watch.
We should 100% do that as well.
We also need to...
The Snyder Cut will be coming out of this as well.
No, we just need to cut... We'll have to cut...
4 years' time.
We'll also have to cut half of Stu and half of Liam off to fit it in a 4:3 ratio.
There you go.
Double bonus.
All right, so that's all from me.
It's all from me.
And me.
And that's it from me.
Oh, it's amazing. I love that sound again.
Let's go and watch it again.
Yes.